At that he woke up with a horrible start and found that part of his dream was true. A crack had opened at the back of the cave and was already a wide passage. He was just in time to see the last of the pony's tail disappearing into it. Of course he gave a loud a yell as a hobbit can give, which is surprising for their size. Out jumped the goblins, big goblins, great ugly-looking goblins, lots of goblins. Before you could say rocks and blocks. There were 6 to each dwarf at least, and 2 even for Bilbo, and they were all grabbed and carried through the crack before you could say tinder and flint. Ow, ow, ow! Hey there, Tolkieneers.
Hello, children of the night.
What music could they make? I'm Danny J.
And I'm Joel N. And welcome to our first ever Halloween special episode.
Burr, 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 burr. We're super excited about this because this is my favorite holiday. Is this your favorite holiday?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, by far. So yeah, but just before we get into it, there's a couple things we got to say up top here.
Yeah, I just wanted to start the episode with a little update.
So first of all, sorry we've been away for a little bit, guys. It's been just as painful for us as it has been for you. But one of the reasons we've been away is because, as you remember, my buddy Joseph, whom we dedicated that Samwise Gamgee episode to, he had been doing his Hodgkin's lymphoma treatment, and he is now 100% cancer-free. And he's pretty much through the woods. But that's what I was kind of dealing with for a couple weeks. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, super exciting.
Beer.
So yeah, so it's beer.
Beat cancer.
Beat cancer. He's de-Hodgkinized. But yeah, so he's on the mend, and he's getting better. And actually, you know how much he's gotten better? He helped me write this fucking episode. Wow. So yeah, so if you think it's funny, it's probably because of him. But yeah, we're happy that Joseph's getting better, and so yeah, we were dealing with that, but we're back here, guys, and this is the Halloween special. Another shout out, I got to do something the other day, Joel, that I
was jealous of, yeah.
Yeah, I never thought I would do. And that was because of a special friend of the show, Scott Pearson. Check out his podcast, Generations Geek. And he gave me tickets to see Bob Dylan.
Yeah, Bob Dylan was just in town, was it last weekend?
It was a couple days ago.
Yeah,
Thursday. Yeah, I'd never thought in my life I'd be able to see Bob Dylan. And he just straight up gave him to me because he knows that I love Bob Dylan. And thanks, Scott.
Yeah, that's a hell of a gift.
Yeah.
Have you never seen Dylan before this?
No.
Okay, so that was like a bucket list kind of
thing.
That
was a literal bucket list thing. Like it meant so much to me because I'd seen John Prine before, he inevitably kicks a bucket. So that was a bucket list thing. And then a couple years later, now I'm seeing Dylan. Look at this. Anyway, shout out to Scott. Thank you so much. Let's get back into Halloween, though.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Let's talk a bit about how we like Halloween.
We love Halloween.
Yeah, so we thought it'd just be kind of fun to kind of list off a few things. Like, for example, our favorite thing to do on Halloween. What's yours, Danny?
My favorite thing to do is, I usually have a pretty routine. I usually go to the big bonfire in West St. Paul.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. I mean, when you say bonfire, I mean it's like the size of a house.
Yeah,
it's a huge pile.
Yeah, it's very pagan. It's a huge fire. So I usually check that out. But then I just watch horror films, man. I just watch the classics, my favorites. My favorite one to watch is we were just talking about earlier, Trick or Treat.
Oh yeah.
Trick or Treat is an amazing film.
I remember when you introduced that to me way back in the day.
Yeah, so good. What do you like to do? I also like to drink whiskey and cider.
Whiskey and cider?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely used to be really into the dressing up and going out kind of thing.
Sure.
But
now you're nearly 30.
Right, now that I'm nearly 30, I don't know. I don't dress up and go out as much anymore. I think I'm more of a hunker down and watch scary movies and drink. Like usually we have our Halloweens
together.
Usually so they're pretty similar Halloweens.
I also I like to do edibles on Halloween. That's
fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Halloween is all about just kind of getting fucked up.
2 years ago at Halloween when I ate the most edibles I'd ever eaten.
Oh,
that was fun. Anyway, that was fun. Should we tell them about our tradition? We didn't do it this year, but we normally do. We usually build something. What do we usually build?
Yeah, so every year around the Halloween, Thanksgiving season, like the fall season, we
Yeah,
usually
the harvest season
around
right
the
here.
harvest season.
In the
Yeah,
Midwest,
we
yeah.
usually get a gourd of some variety, usually a pumpkin, and we usually fashion ourselves a nice pumpkin water pipe.
Pumpkin water pipe for smoking tobacco. But
Sometimes we fill it with like cider. So
oh
it
yeah,
tastes
that
really
one
good.
year we filled it with
That
cider
was
and
really
cinnamon.
good.
Oh man,
That was really good.
That was the year we made it way too big too.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was good though.
Fun times.
Yeah. So, what do you guys like to do around Halloween times? Let us know. Hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up. And this episode's dropping on Halloween.
So this should be All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, as you're listening to this, hopefully it's Halloween right now.
Yeah, and if you're not listening to this the day it drops, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, what are you doing? Disappointing. So today we're going to combine our two of our favorite things in the world, Tolkien and the spooky Yuki, the creepy and the macabre.
Yeah, we're going to have our own kind of Halloween Tolkien special.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to go through, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through, kind of just jump through the legendarium and talk about different spooky Halloween type themed Tolkien things.
Mm-hmm. And then also, forgot to mention up top that we have a very special treat for you at the end of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We have our first ever Tolkien interview with a famous person.
We've alluded to this one a few times, actually, so we hope you enjoy it when it comes up later.
Stick around, guys. It's going to be so awesome.
All right, so to start things off, we just wanted to talk about how we don't really feel like Tolkien gets enough credit for how spooky some of his shit is.
No, a lot of it is very spooky. And
Yeah.
tense, too. Like, he's chills and thrills in Tolkien.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. He's got the creepiness. He's got some pretty morbid stuff, just some dark stuff. And
Just disturbing shit.
terrifying thing. Yeah, he kind of sprinkles it in where it's
Yeah.
appropriate. It's great.
And I love horror. It's like my favorite thing ever. And like now I'm seeing like when I started going back into like Peter Jackson's older movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
His horror stuff, and I was like, why did they let this dude direct Lord of the Rings? But then I sat down and rewatched Lord of the Rings, and I was like, oh my god, there's aspects of all these early horror films in these movies, and he's learned the pacing to make things suspenseful. So Peter Jackson was actually the perfect choice to direct Tolkien.
Perfect. I feel like that happens with not just Lord of the Rings, but other movies too. Like if you're trying to make a good action or suspense movie, maybe not a horror movie, but if you get someone who's really knows a lot about their horror, so that they make those moments a little more
Gravitas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you get a real good film.
Oh yeah. But today, we're just going to be talking about those spooky Yuki aspects of the legendarium that we like.
Yeah. So we thought we'd start off with some of the spooky characters.
Spooky, and we had to mention this guy first.
Oh yeah.
And that, of course, is Sauron.
Right, because of all of Tolkien's evil characters, I mean, he's the necromancer.
Yeah.
He is the Dark Lord. He is, I mean, yeah.
He's all it. And especially in the first stage, we find this guy palling around with actual like Halloween type animals.
Yeah, for
like
real.
creatures.
Straight up yeah, we've said it before, but for real, Halloween creatures
Halloween
like
type
werewolves
creatures,
and
yeah.
vampires and like sprites and
All kinds of
all
weird
crazy shit.
Yeah. And I think he's like comparing him to like especially Melkor. I feel like Sauron is more cruel in a way and more evil in a way than Melkor.
Oh?
Yeah, because Sauron, like the way he goes about things is just he really takes a hammer to the situation.
I definitely think he's a little more manipulative.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. He's more into deceiving people and corrupting people than
Right. Melkor was
Yeah.
just kind of out to fuck up everything.
yeah.
Like even mountains. He's like, you
Yeah.
made these mountains, I'm gonna break them.
yeah.
But yeah, Sauron is more like, hey, let's subtly torture people's
Yeah,
minds until we get them to do what we want them to do.
Yeah, he's an evil fucker, guys. But yeah, in the same way, he's just as cruel as Melkor, but in a different way, he's a different kind of cruel.
Right, yeah.
So I would have to say that the spookiest part with Sauron
Okay.
would be in the Tale of Beren and Luthien, and this is when Finrod and Beren are stuck in the dungeons of Sauron's The Isle of Werewolves Tower.
Oh yeah, I think I'd have to agree. That's definitely the most like spooky ooky Sauron we get.
Spooky-ooky,
When
yeah.
he's like on the island of werewolves
Mhm.
with all of his creatures.
Yeah, and he's got like that, and then they do that sing-song battle,
The
and then
sing-song battle, yeah.
the wolves eat them one by one.
Yeah, the werewolves coming out of the dark eating his naked prisoners.
Yeah, dude. It's like a fucking heavy metal music video.
Yeah, his tenacity is also pretty terrifying.
Yes, he's a very determined character.
So another great scary character we thought we'd bring up. This is probably one of the ones a lot of you probably thought of first off the bat when we bring up spooky, scary characters. The Witch King of Angmar.
Ooh, spooky.
Now, he's legitimately spooky,
Right, and that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the thing about, excuse you know the FDR saying, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, American president, for those who aren't American. He said, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." Right.
Yeah.
And the scariest thing about the Nazgul is that they use fear against you.
Yeah. It is the fear that is so scary.
Mm-hmm.
They strike fear into all of their opponents.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, just the determination of the Witch King as well.
Mm-hmm. Because he's like Sauron's ultimate hunter, isn't he?
Right, yeah. And I compared him to the Terminator in this respect, in that he won't eat, he won't sleep, and he'll kill anybody who gets in his way to find the ring. And that's all his purposes.
He literally will not stop.
Will not stop. What would you say the spookiest part with the Witch King is?
I don't know. When I think of the Witch King, I just think of how spooky it is that he was a black Numenorean. Like, he was definitely into, like, necromancy and shit.
Yeah, that seemed to have been his thing.
And I try to think of, like, what the Kingdom of Angmar was like, and I imagine that was a pretty spooky fucking place.
That must have been a spooky place. Yeah, Mount Gundabad was, like, their headquarters. Like,
right, yeah. Far to the north.
Yeah, I think mine is I really like the Witch King's dialogue. So I like the scene where he squares off with Eowyn.
Oh yeah, when he speaks, it is pretty epic. Mm-hmm. It's true. Because he talks about when squaring off with Eowyn, he talks about how like Nazgul will not slay thee in thy turn; he'll bear thee away to the houses of lamentation,
where they'll be left. Your mind should be left naked to the lidless eye, or something like that.
Right? Yeah.
Like
that's some torturous, horrifying stuff.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have some dialogue with Gandalf too at the front gate of Minas Tirith when he opens the front gate?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get mixed up with the movie. I remember at least in the movie.
You don't know death when you see it. That is from the book.
That's from the book. Okay. Yeah, I think he says that to Theoden though in the book, but I'm not certain.
Do you not know death when you see it, old man?
And honestly, the in the movie they do that like vacuum power that he has.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and that's really cool because like I don't know, the vacuum is like symbolically just nothingness.
Right, like a void.
Yeah, it's void of anything.
Yeah, they kind of reuse that with the evil creatures, like when at the beginning prologue in the Return at the Fellowship of the Ring when they showed Sauron getting destroyed.
He does that.
He does that. Kind of implode, and then when the Witch King gets destroyed during the Return of the King, he does that implode where he like curls up into himself and falls down. I think that's cool imagery.
Yeah,
the implosion.
The implosion stuff is cool. Mm-hmm. I like it. All right, let's move on to another creepy. This is the creepiest character.
Yeah, this character is actually where this episode started off, and then we decided to make it like a whole Halloween themed episode.
Yeah, but that's of course Gollum, the creature Gollum. And yeah, he's creepy because he's just constantly lurking.
Yeah, he is the definition of like a creepy, lurky, slinky character.
Just a slimy bastard.
Yeah. He is supposed to be slimy, like literally slimy with webbed fingers and toes.
And it's he's really hard to catch.
Yeah. Creeping around.
Yeah, and it like took Aragorn when he did track him down, it took him years.
Right. It's
to find him.
That recent episode of South Park where Eric Cartman won't take his shots because he greases himself up like a pig.
Runs naked.
And even the best big catchers can't catch him.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Gollum.
That's Gollum, really. He is the greased up pig of the Tolkien legendarium.
Yeah, and he is constantly lurking around. He's kind of the person who's like in a lot of like stories and big legendariums and things. There's usually a character who's like all about information. Like lurking around and just gets information. That's sort of Gollum.
The fly on the wall.
The fly on the wall, yeah. Yeah, Gollum kind of knows who's where and what's up and where to go.
Gollum, he knows a lot of shit. He actually knows a lot about like the Last Alliance and shit too.
Yeah, he's he's really old because his folk were from the Anduin River area. So like, I'm sure they dealt with that.
Yeah, and I actually read in some of my preliminary research when I was actually writing the Gollum episode was I found that like his grandma was supposed to be like a lore master or something.
Oh, really?
Which is why he knew like all the stories about the Last Alliance and all this stuff. Yeah, which is
because I know he talks about his mother or grandmother a lot.
Yeah, and she was like the matriarch of their.
Yeah. I didn't realize that she was like a historian. That's really cool.
Yeah,
the wise woman,
the wise one. But yeah, and he's also he's only driven by the lust for the ring. That's all that really drives him. Like,
he has.
He can't be bargained with. Yeah,
one motivation.
Spookiest part, though, I'd have to say, in my opinion, is the riddles in the dark.
Oh yeah, that's a great scene.
Yeah, just because it's very tense as well.
Yeah, I mean it's also the first time we get introduced to Gollum, so like all of this is very new. This weird hissing,
Right.
slimy green webbed like where the fuck did he come from? In
Yeah.
the book in The Hobbit they actually say like they don't know. They say they don't know where it came from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the unknown, like this unknown, because it's not a goblin. Like, we know that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is some kind of creepy, oogie, spooky character.
Yeah, they make it seem like it's very almost unhuman
Oh, yeah.
in The Hobbit. But yeah, I do really love Riddles in the Dark.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to next dude. The Mouth of Sauron, evil character, creepy character. And this dude is especially disgusting in the film.
Yeah, he's definitely creepy in like a almost gory kind of way. He's disgusting.
Literally disgusting. Yeah, I love the look that Aragorn gives him when he smiles. Just kind of like, oh, brush your teeth, dog.
I don't know. I loved him in the film, just the way that they did his mouth, where it's just like overly, what's the word I'm looking for? Animated almost.
Yeah.
Like it's really big and just.
Yeah.
And all those teeth, there's like no gums.
Do you know the guy that played that dude is the guy from The Road Warrior?
Oh, really?
The guy that flies the little helicopter?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's him. But yeah, he's creepy also because I think, in my opinion, is because he has a very intimate relationship with Sauron.
Oh, that's right. He's the only one that speaks to Sauron.
Speaks directly to him. And it's like, what kind of relationship is that? You know what I mean? Like,
is he also a Black Numenorian?
that's what they say. Yes, and they also said that when he's talking about the treaty that they're gonna make, he says like he'll install a new captain at Orthanc, and everyone was like, well, that's you. Right, you're talking about yourself, like,
right?
Yeah, but yeah, so he's like a high in command.
So he's not one of the wraiths, right?
Yeah, he's not a wraith as far as we know. I don't
think he's supposed to be one of the 9 because he is like a fully physical-bodied character.
And yeah, they kill him. Like,
that's true. Yeah, they cut his head. They fucking cut his head off.
They chop his head off in the movie. I can't remember if they do that in the book or not, but they do kill him.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, in general, the Mouth of Sauron. He also just anytime he speaks, he speaks for Sauron, so everything he says is terrifying and like doom-filled. Like, like when you see him at the Black Gate, he's like, "We found your boy," and you're like, "Oh fuck."
Oh shit, yeah, and now we're all here for nothing. Yeah. My master Sauron the Great bids thee welcome. Yeah, but yeah, so the spooky scene with him is really the only scene he's in.
Yeah, the Black Gate,
and that's the tense ass scene where he's taunting Gandalf and Aragorn.
Yeah, and in the book we mentioned this before. It's great because in the book the reader at this point has no idea what happened to Frodo either, and it makes the scene even more tense.
Right.
Yeah, because in the book last we hear of Frodo and Sam is when it's after Shelob when Frodo gets captured and taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the last we hear from him.
Yeah, so we think at this point, in here the fucking Mouth of Sauron shows up with his fucking mithril coat. Like, oh well, this. Oh, fuck.
And that also just really proves that Sauron knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, he knows what's up. Yeah. He knows what's going on. One more terrifying thing about Sauron is just that Sauron just knows. He knows.
Exactly.
Like Melkor, he knows what the fuck is going on. They even talk about, back to Sauron again, in the Council of Elrond, there's a terrifying moment after...
when they're like, he might even know what we're doing now.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Gandalf or Elrond, but he explains, how active Sauron is presently and how powerful he is, and the fact that he knows the ring is in Rivendell, and he might even know that we're having this conversation right now.
Silence.
And everyone, dead silence. Everyone's like, oh
shit.
Fuck.
That's when you hit the J, and you're just like, fuck, man. Jesus. Shit.
But the Mouth of Sauron, also very terrifying.
Yes. Let's get on to the biggest, baddest motherfucker of them all.
He is the biggest baddie.
He is.
Melkor.
And I think the creepy ookiest thing about him is that he's all about perversion. He's a big pervert, is basically.
He is a giant pervert.
He's a giant fucking pervert.
And we do mean that in a funny way, but also in a very serious,
literal sense of the
very
word.
serious literal sense. Like, he is almost terrifyingly perverted.
Mm-hmm.
What's a great story? He likes to pervert good things.
Yeah, orcs, ants. Yeah, ants.
Yeah, so for early on, one of the first things he did was pervert literal races of people. Like when Orome finds the elves for the first time at Cuiviénen, they're terrified of him, And by the time he gets to talking to them, they tell him, like, yeah, we were terrified because we know of a dark rider that rides around in the woods at night.
A spooky
character who steals elves if they stray too far. And we find out that that's fucking Melkor stealing elves, bringing them back to Angband, torturing them, mutilating them, and turning them into a fucking different race entirely.
Fucking pervert.
That is pretty fucking scary.
Yeah.
And the fact that he learns to do that with bigger creatures too, he does that with the Ents.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what that process is like. That's got to be fucking horrifying.
And dragons, which we assume are perverted lizards.
Yeah, because he can't just create dragons. They must have been a perverted something.
Perverted, what are those things called? The Komodo Dragon.
A Komodo dragon?
Yeah, they're awesome. I love those
They are. Did you know that they're actually pretty fucking poisonous too?
Yeah, their bites are hella poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're the largest lizard in the world.
Yeah, everyone's obsessed with the Komodo dragon because it's the largest lizard, but that's not the scary part.
The scary part is the venomous bite that
yeah,
gives
their
you.
salivas.
Yeah. Saliva. Yeah, well, spookiest part, the spookiest part, I think, with Melkor is when Beren and Luthien are down in the dungeon with him.
Oh, yeah, the descent.
Mm-hmm.
When, I think in the novel version of, like, the fleshed out version of Beren and Luthien, they describe the descent a little more.
Yeah.
When they're descending down and they describe how demented it is.
Yeah.
And terrifying because they're
Aren't there
going...
like statues of like perverted shit?
Yeah, there's these big creepy statues and they can tell that they're of humanoid-like figures, but they're obviously like disgusting perversions of what the children of Iluvatar were, so like they're terrifying.
Exactly.
Yeah, check out that description of Beren and Luthien descending into Angband. It's really cool and spooky.
Spooky. All right, next spooky guy, Glaurung the Dragon.
Yeah, speaking of lizards and dragons, he is the father of dragons.
And he's a power of the mind. That's what's scary about him.
Yeah, like we come to find in Tolkien's legendarium, dragons are not only sentient, but dragons have their own magic abilities.
Somewhat magical,
And I'm pretty sure that started with his Glaurung stories. Mm-hmm. Like, Glaurung speaks, he puts spells of forgetfulness on people, he freezes people into stone.
Yeah. All kinds of things he can do magically.
Yeah, and I assume it's the same for Glaurung. They describe it with Smaug, but like when you're around dragons, you just have this sense of like wanting to tell them the truth all the time.
Yeah, they seem to be able to loosen your lips a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're very cunning.
Yeah, they're extremely cunning, and Glaurung was supposed to be like the epitome of that because he's the father.
Yeah. He's the father.
He didn't even have wings yet, so he had to rely on
cunning
and bursting flames.
Yeah. So I think the spookiest part with him is probably the sack of Nargothrond. That's at least, and that's when they're burning the city, and then they're selling all the women into slavery, and then Turin comes up, and Turin's about to like stab him in the eyeball, and he places that spell on him.
Yeah, it says like he tries what? Yeah, he doesn't even do his blast. He just opens his eyes.
Yeah,
and Turin freezes there, and he just stares at him.
And then when Turin keeps trying him, thou art valiant at least. Yeah,
yea, valiant as any foes I have faced, or something like that. Yeah, and then when he breaks his spell, Turin still tries to slash at his eyes, and then it's like, then Glaurung coiled up tall and coiled back and up and tall, and he towered over Turin. He's like, "Nay, thou art valiant."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great scene. And I think a lot of the reason why these characters are spooky for me is their dialogue.
The dialogues are always great.
Yeah, the dialogue is spooky. They speak like villains, you know?
Yeah, they definitely speak like villains, and they always say terrifying things.
Yes, they do.
Like, anytime Glaurung speaks, he doesn't speak a hell of a lot. I think he only speaks in The Children of Hurin.
Yeah.
But when he does speak, it's always something awful.
Yeah, it is. Next, these two kind of go together. Shelob and Ungoliant.
Oh, yes. Of course, we got to talk about the spiders.
And I think why they're terrifying is because they're never satisfied.
Oh yeah, their hunger is never satisfied.
Just like when the doves cry, maybe she's just like my mother. She's never satisfied.
That took a turn.
Prince, this is a Minnesota podcast.
I know, but we're just talking about all these spooky, ooky, terrifying spiders, and you're like, Prince.
Prince it's about his parents, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we love you, R.I.P., dude.
Yeah, we love Prince. But Shelob and Ungoliant, they are like the definitions of gluttony. Like they're never satisfied.
Never satisfied.
Like they will eat anything. Like Ungoliant even wanted to eat the Silmarils.
Yeah, dude. That was what she was all about. I think the spooky wickiest part with either of them, though, is probably Shelob versus Sam.
Oh, yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Because I might have said Ungoliant versus Melkor, because that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, because she gets all big and shit.
Yeah, she grows and grows and grows and, like, belches forth, dark vapors.
Dark vapors. Yeah, that's cool, too. And there's a bunch of terrifying stuff. When they take Formanos and they, like, kill Finwë, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that cloud of darkness that she used to disguise them.
Everybody runs except Finwë.
Yeah, also the descriptions of when Melkor goes to the south to find Ungoliant, and it just kind of describes where her abode is, like in just these empty, cold mountains. Like that's also pretty fucking spooky. They don't know where Ungoliant came from.
No.
They say maybe she descended into Arda out of the darkness.
Yeah.
Early on, like out of the void, and someone once said maybe she was one of the Maiar that Melkor had corrupted early on, but then just kind of went independent.
Yeah, she's like independent. She's the Bernie Sanders of the. Just kind of plays with one team, but like
she's
not
like
really.
The reverse of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of all a one for all, it's literally all for one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Shelob as well, and down the same vein. And I guess the scene with Sam is it's a little more drawn out. Like, it's an actual fight scene.
Yeah. It's so funny, like, my girlfriend's hugely afraid of spiders. She will not watch that scene, like, period. And even Sam, my friend that introduced me to Tolkien, was also highly arachnophobic.
Oh.
He could not watch this. He couldn't even read that part. Like, it was so disgusting to him.
The part in the book where they go into Shelob's lair, that is all pretty spooky when they, like, describe the feeling of her watching them and, like, her eyes coming out of the darkness and stuff. Dude. That whole scene is very creepy.
They do, I was listening to an interview with Stephen Colbert, and he was talking about how immersive Tolkien's world is, and he said he was sitting on his mom's floor reading Shelob's Lair, and he stopped breathing. He literally was like, and like took a breath because he realized he was not breathing while he was reading the book because it was so tense that he had just forgotten to breathe. And it is kind of like that. It's a very intense part of the book.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, some more spooky Yuki people. Black Numenorians.
Yeah, I guess more or less a couple of categories of people we wanted to touch on. Because Black Numenorians, they are pretty fucking spooky.
They're spooky Yuki, and they seem to know a little bit of like dark magic and shit.
Yeah, and so just to cover, or to review, the Black Numenorians, they originated back toward the end of Numenor, when Sauron corrupted most of Numenor right before the fall. Then he converted a bunch of Numenorians to the worship of Melkor, which I imagine probably dabbled in some necromancy too. They did like human sacrifices. So the Black Numenorians, they were some dark people. And they're an issue all the way up into the Third Age too. Like, they're still around.
Yeah, they're the Corsairs.
They're also are all of the Nazgul Black Numenorians, or just a good?
I think
handful?
like 3 of them are.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and then like we mentioned, the Mouth of Sauron was also a Black Numenorian. So there's a lot of Black Numenorians who are kind of key figures in doing some evil shit.
Yeah.
There's some creepy folks.
And
yeah, like I said earlier, human sacrifice. They're all about that shit.
All about it. And another group of creatures, the Balrogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Last but not least, the Balrogs.
They're a fun topic just because, one, they're so fucking cool. But also because they sort of changed over time. Yeah. Like in terms of like stature and power.
At least, yeah, in perception. Well, either they changed in stature and stuff, or people are just shittier now.
But I mean, I feel like even some of the descriptions were different. Well, I suppose maybe I'm just thinking back to like one of the early versions of the Fall of Gondolin. Yeah. Because I know in some of the versions of the Fall of Gondolin, maybe it's the earlier versions versus, the official final version. But I know in some of the earlier versions of the Fall of Gondolin, there's dragons and Balrogs, but they kind of describe Balrogs as like almost like an orc chieftain.
Yeah, just bigger.
Yeah, just a little bigger. Not like these ginormous flaming demon beasts that we know.
In the Lord of the Rings, it's huge.
Yeah, like Durin's Bane and Moria, that is supposed to be large, on fire, very hard to kill. I mean, it got Gandalf.
Yeah. But yeah, Balrogs are creepy fucking characters, man.
Yeah, they have a lot of evil power to them too.
Yeah, a lot of magical power, which we talked about in a couple episodes ago. We talked about that.
Yeah, once again, Moria with Gandalf. There's a few magic fights with Gandalf where like their magic is so powerful and equal that it explodes the door, the chamber of Mazabul, and then a whole bunch of crazy shit.
All right, well, let's move on to some spooky yuki places in Tolkien.
Yeah, spooky places. So obviously Mordor.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the land of spooky.
Yeah, it literally is the land of spooky. It's I think why it's so terrifying is its inhospitability.
Yeah, like they describe when Sam and Frodo are working their way through Mordor, like they run out of water and they can't refill their canteens because any of the water streams are like oily and black and like nasty.
Yeah.
Like nothing even really grows there other than like some shitty dead like bramble that they have to get through. Like it's a shitty place.
Yeah, it's really gross. Yeah, and it's all volcanic. There's ash in the sky. The sun doesn't even reach there.
No, it's all dark.
It's terrible, and there's nowhere to hide from Sauron.
Yeah, it's his land.
It's his land. So in the same vein as Mordor, let's talk about the Stronghold of Melkor, Angband.
I think this is probably, for me, one of the scariest places I can imagine.
Yeah.
Like the Stronghold of Melkor, the ultimate bad guy. Like,
and it's also it's a place of torture as well.
Yeah, it is a genuine place of like darkness and pure torment. Like there's, I imagine, thousands of people slaving away in his mind.
Thousands, yeah, and he just works them to death. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny because there's not a whole lot of description of what Angband actually is like. But like I was talking to Joel about this earlier, Tolkien really knows when to describe things and when not to, because he'll leave it up to you to imagine what the fuck is an Angband.
Right. He gives a few, like we mentioned earlier, he gives a few descriptions of Angband when Beren and Luthien are dissenting, but not a lot. Like he describes a few vaguely described statues, like they are statues that are in the likeness of a humanoid character, but they're
hideous,
perverted and hideous. So he'll let you imagine what that looks like, and like I can imagine some pretty creepy fucking looking statues, man.
Yeah, dude. All right, let's get into another stronghold. That's a terrible, terrible place that you'd never want to go to.
Yeah.
And that's Tolkien Garroth.
Also known as the Island of Werewolves, which was previously known as Tolsirian.
Tolsirian was the name of the island, yeah, but Minas Tirith was the name of the tower.
Minas Tirith was the name of the tower, right? But we're talking about the island of Tol and Galroth.
Right. Yeah, Isle of Werewolves, guys. Terrible place to live. Wouldn't want to go there if I knew the way.
Yeah, Stronghold of Sauron during the First Age. He took it by force from Orodreth, and the whole island is just a place for fucking Halloween monsters.
Yeah, literal Halloween fucking monsters.
Dungeons with people being tortured, and yeah, it's not a good place to be. And so another place that's actually not too far from there that we wanted to touch on is Ered Gorgoroth, which is the Mountains of Terror.
Yeah, those spooky-ass mountains. And don't some of the spawns of Ungoliant live there as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was one of the things that made it so dark and spooky. Yeah, after Ungoliant betrayed Melkor, and then Melkor's Balrogs saved him, then Ungoliant fled south. She hung out here in the Mountains of Terror for a while, where she like had children and ate them and like did some shitty things, and then she left, and like now those mountains are filled with terrible, terrifying, dark creatures, and not only just spiders but other shit too. Apparently it's just kind of like a cursed place.
And this is the Baron made his way through here, yeah?
Yeah, so when Baron heads south from Dorthonion, that's that high point, when he heads south to Doriath, he has to get down from that high area of Dorthonion, so that means he has to get down the Mountains of Terror.
Yeah.
And they say he finds a way. He's the only man to ever find a way through that area, and he never spoke of it to anyone.
Yeah, that was like the part of the journey you'd never get him to talk about.
Yeah, because he said that it was so apparently it was so terrifying that he wouldn't talk about it to anyone at all.
Oh yeah, him and Dagmar took care of it though.
Yeah, and they said that like in the book early on, they say that was like one of the most courageous things he's ever done.
Yeah, man. Baron did a whole bunch of crazy shit.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that would have been like. Like it must have been fucking terrible. Like that guy fucking went into Angband.
Yeah.
And apparently, the Mountains of Terror were still too terrifying for him to speak of.
He'll talk about Angband.
What the fuck happened there, man? I think there's also a story of when who is it? Aradel the White and Eol's son. Meglin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when Aradel the White, I think it's when she first gets away from the Gondolindrum.
Yeah.
They're going through that area, and all their horses get terrified of the monsters, and she speeds off, and like the other elves couldn't get through.
Yeah.
And I think that's how Aradel gets away. So there's a few instances where they talk about how fucking terrifying
this place is.
Nobody likes to go there.
Another terrifying place that nobody likes to go, the Dimholt Road.
Yeah. The Road of the Dead.
Yeah. This is the Path of the Dead. This is Aragorn and the Dunedain Rangers and the Sons of Elrond. They all take that road to go get it's a deep trek into the White Mountains, and they're trying to find the abandoned cities in there, and they go to the Stone of Eric, and they raise up their banners, and they're like, "Yo, fight for us."
That stone is pretty creepy, just because they describe it as like being perfectly round and smooth, and no one knows how it got there.
Nobody knows. But yeah, apparently it's spooky beyond words, because Gimli, after the fact, refuses to talk about it, and he says it's the scariest shit that's ever happened to him. He doesn't want to talk about it, and he never would have made it through without Aragorn. That's all he ever said about it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to talk about it, but Aragorn got me through.
And I think that line out of the movie, an elf would go underground when a dwarf dare not. I think that's from the book, too.
Yeah, because Gimli's very embarrassed about it, because it seems like the kind of place that a dwarf would thrive.
Yeah, underground in the dark.
But it was too terrifying for him.
Not with all those fucking dead folks around.
Yeah. Next up on the list, we got the Tower of Fungal.
Yeah, so this is a pretty spooky place because it basically guards that back entrance into Mordor.
The back door.
And it's also equipped with that evil magic barrier, the Watchers that are sitting out front.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also just adjacent to Shelob's lair. So it's in a pretty fucking spooky part of town.
It's
even
in a
for
bad
Mordor.
neighborhood. Yeah,
even for Mordor, it's pretty...
Wrong side of the tracks. That's
Yeah, and as we know, there's a lot of terrible things that happens there with the orcs.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving right along, we got the Forest of Mirkwood.
I really love Mirkwood.
Mirkwood's a cool place. It seems like it used to be way cooler before Sauron moved in, though.
Yeah, Greenwood the Great.
Mm-hmm.
But after Sauron moved in and it became Mirkwood, then it became full of evil. Evil creatures and evil plants, I think they even say. Things started dying and rotting. And
then, least of all, giant fucking talking spiders.
Yeah, huge spiders.
Huge.
I think those are said to be... Are they not of the same breed as Shelob and such? Or are they a little different?
I think they are. Yeah, I think pretty much all spiders are spawns of Ungoliant.
Because I don't think the spiders in Mirkwood give off that dark aura that Shelob and Ungoliant do.
Oh, the Unlight or whatever?
The Unlight,
yeah.
So if they are related, they're a much lesser version of those spiders. But still, they're huge fucking spiders. And that's terrifying. All right, so the next location on the list that we want to talk about, Goblin Town.
Yes. Very scary place.
Yeah, I was really happy that we included this one because I love a lot of the Hobbit locations.
Yeah, they're spooky-ooky. Because, it's a kid's book, and, you got to have spooky-ooky locations for your characters to go to. You wouldn't have a hero without a spooky-ooky adventure.
Yeah, and so, as I'm sure we'll all remember from The Hobbit, probably one of the spookiest parts of The Hobbit is when... Thorin and company are captured by the goblins and taken down into Goblin Town.
Yeah, and that's actually what the opening excerpt was.
Yeah.
And that was actually chosen by Joseph, too. He said that part used to scare him when he was a kid.
The goblins coming out of the crack in the cave.
Yeah.
That is a great scene.
Mm-hmm. Also, somewhat near Goblin Town, our next location, Gollum's Cave.
Oh, yeah. The scene for Riddles in the Dark.
Yes.
They don't really say where it is.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere just deep into the Misty Mountains. And it just sounds really creepy, too.
And it's equipped with its own, underground lake, which, doesn't sound all that bad of a place, but really the shitty thing about it is who lives there. And that's Gollum.
Yeah, Gollum. This weird, gross, mutated hobbit resident. Nobody likes him.
Nobody.
Not even he.
All right, yeah, another place we mentioned it earlier on is Dol Guldur.
Dol Guldur, which used to be an old elven stronghold, right?
I believe so. Yeah, and it's in southern Mirkwood.
Mm-hmm.
And, Sauron posts up in there and creates all his evil shit.
Yeah, that's when Sauron is practicing necromancy, because they call him the necromancer when he's there.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a theory that I think that this kind of ties in with our conversation we've had previously about Sauron. Most of the times when any Ainur deplete their spirit to the point where they can't take physical shape again, usually that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But with Sauron, he's the only one we find that's not the case. He comes back multiple times and rebuilds his power.
Yeah.
And we mentioned previously, I think that it might be this necromancy stuff that he does.
I think he's stealing Feyre from people or something?
Right, yeah. I think, because how else are you going to rebuild it? Because he bled all of his Feyre out to the point where he couldn't take physical form, multiple times?
Multiple times, yeah.
And then he got it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's
I think,
true.
They don't necessarily mention like Melkor practicing necromancy or anything, because I feel like maybe Melkor wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think it's interesting that Sauron was doing necromancy.
Yeah, that is interesting. I never thought about that. Speaking of necromancy and sorcery, here's another new scary ass place.
Oh yeah, the later on the capital for the Witch King hangs out in Minas Morgul.
Yeah, and also because of the Witch King is why it's terrifying.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a huge garrison of orcs, and it's the headquarters for the Nazgul. Fuck those guys.
Oh, for all the Nazgul.
I think they all live there, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that is a fucking horrifying place.
Yeah, at least that was my understanding, that they all live there.
I can't believe we didn't even include the Nazgul in general as a category of spooky characters when we were talking about characters just earlier.
Yeah.
The Nazgul are probably some of the spookiest
They're spooky
characters.
Yukies, yeah. Spooky guys.
Although I suppose we did talk about the Witch King.
Yeah. Yeah, he is
a Nazgul, so that kind of covers it.
We covered it.
He's the scariest of the Nazgul.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, so now we're going to go through some of our favorite spooky-ass events that happen. We're going to go through this kind of fast, because there's a lot of them. But,
yeah, but they are a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun.
So to start off the list, I wanted to talk about something spooky that happens with dwarves.
Dwarf shit.
So I thought it would be fun to bring up the Death of Thror by Azog the Defiler.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when basically it's Thror and I think it's Nain. They go to the doors of Khazad Dûm because they're looking to see if they can retake it. They think it might be empty.
Yeah.
And then Thror goes in and he gets fucking killed.
Yeah.
And Nain is hiding outside and fucking Azog throws his head out of the door.
Yeah.
With Azog's initials carved into its forehead.
Mm-hmm.
That's some pretty fucking metal shit.
Yeah, dude.
And like Nain is just like weeping and like running away.
Yeah.
As like orcs are coming out and like defiling Thror's body. Like it's a pretty terrifying scene.
He threw him a little bit of gold too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he's like, here's a little gold for your fucking troubles.
For your troubles.
And if they want to know who it is that killed Thor, his
name is written on the head. Yeah.
His name is carved in its head.
Yeah.
Azog. And he's like, that's me or something.
Yeah, that's me, by the way.
That's me. Yeah. Azog's pretty badass. I hated that they had to even mention him in
I don't
the
even want to
Hobbit
talk
movies.
about it. Yeah.
But that one scene with him is pretty fucking great.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the Hobbit for a little bit here. The troll shaws. That part's spooky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where they're gonna get eaten by trolls.
Yeah, that's one of the first real big things that happens in the Hobbit.
Yeah.
When they come across the
They're
trolls.
big dangers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fun. And then Gandalf does the confuses them until they turn into stone.
What do you say? Like fools, like the sun will take you all, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then daylight comes.
Yeah. Also in the Hobbit, the whole Goblin Town, just in general.
Yeah. We
That
kind of
whole
mentioned
thing,
it before.
yeah.
Everything down in Goblin Town is pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah, so we're talking about the capture of the dwarves, and then Gandalf comes back, and and then they all run, and then Bilbo's gone. They all
Pretty much the whole sequence under the Misty Mountains.
Very tense. Yeah.
Very tense. And then, like we mentioned before, Riddles in the Dark. That's another spooky event that happens right after Goblin Town.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, all the spider slaying that happens in Mirkwood as well. Very, very spooky, Yuki.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens in Mirkwood that's spooky.
Yeah,
because
it's a spooky place.
The forest itself is somewhat enchanting too, and then it's got like that enchanted river.
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue between Smaug and Bilbo.
Yeah.
When Bilbo finally makes it into the Lonely Mountain, that whole dialogue is pretty creepy and intense.
Yeah, he's just a creeper character. Smaug.
Yeah, like we said earlier, any dragons,
any fucking dragon. Yeah.
When they speak and there's dialogue, it is great.
So then in the beginning of the Lord of the Rings, I think the first real spooky Yuki shit is when they're first being chased by the Nazgul.
Yeah, when they first start coming across them.
And they have no idea who they are.
Yeah, that is really creepy.
Yeah.
Especially when they come across, who is it on the road?
Gildor,
and then he's like, Black Riders, and then Gildor's like, what?
Yeah.
Black Riders.
And then he was like, what? And Frodo's like, what are they? And he's like, if I told you, you'd be too scared to go anywhere.
And you're like, oh, shit.
All right. I guess I'll just not know then.
I guess I'll, continue on in ignorance. Yeah, that was a pretty terrifying revelation.
Yeah.
When even the elves were like, we're too scared to talk about this right now.
And they do this scene really well in the movie. Remember with the tree trunk scene?
The tree trunk scene?
Yeah, where the hobbits are all under the Nazgul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right after they find the mushrooms.
That
so
scary.
Scene. Get off the road.
So scary.
That is a very intense scene.
I mean, and I say this because I saw The Lord of the Rings when I was 9, and a lot of it scared the shit out of me, to be honest. I wasn't a hardcore horror fan then, like I am now. So a lot of this shit scared me, man.
Right. Yeah, like we mentioned before, when you get someone who really knows how to do horror and it comes to these types of tense scenes, if they do it right.
They do it right.
It can really make the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was always kind of disappointed about how they sort of did like the aura of fear in the movies. Because like the only time we ever really get to experience much of like the aura of fear that comes off the Nazgul is usually when Frodo looks like he's jizzing in his pants.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really communicate the fear I felt.
You're right.
It just makes it seem like, oh, every time they're around, somebody must have the Orgasmo gun.
Yeah,
the
one
like
from
Frodo's
Orgasmo.
jizzing his pants again. Shit.
Joel just referenced a wonderful film called Orgasmo, which you should definitely see if you haven't.
Aragorn, I think the fucking ring rays are near. How do you know? Frodo's jizzing his pants again.
Frodo's jizzing everywhere. Anyway, enough about jizz.
Pretty scary on its own.
Yeah, jizz is terrifying. Let's move on to the Old Forest.
Oh, yeah, the Old Forest sequence.
Yeah, Spooky Yuki. They get eaten by a tree.
Yeah. They get eaten by a tree, and like the forest sort of seems like it's got its own will.
It's got it out for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy. You can see why they're all the hobbits are always so terrified of the Old Forest.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they're always like, people go in there and die all the time. That's what they say. And then later, just after that, we have the Barrow Downs.
I think the Barrow Downs is one of the first truly spooky events.
Oh yeah,
in the Lord of the Rings. Like
it's very trippy.
It's very trippy.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like running from the wraiths is scary, and like going through the Old Forest was tense. But like when they get captured in the Barrow Downs, and there's like a spooky ghost that's like a hand coming around a corner that's about to get them.
Yeah, dude. And he sees all his friends, and they have like a naked sword laid across their throat.
And all their clothes are changed.
Yeah,
too.
dude. It's wild. It's some fucking horror shit.
But then, of course, if you're talking about scary events, like we mentioned the Nazgul, we got to talk about Weathertop.
The
Fords of Barainin.
Yeah. These events are, when you see the Nazgul really do what they do, you know?
Yeah, like they're out to get the ring, and they're coming.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that whole, like crossing the Fords of Barainin, it's like, are these guys about to get to Rivendell? Like,
right, for a second they're like, when they start entering the river, you're like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh fuck, they're coming. Like, this is it.
Yeah, and it takes Glorfindel and Gandalf and Elrond to thwart their efforts.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the spooky Uki's place in all of Tolkien, or in all of the Lord of the Rings at least, is by far Moria.
Yeah. It's a dead city.
Yeah.
So it's pretty terrifying.
Yeah. And then also, even before they get in there, there's that spooky Yuki encounter with the
the Watcher.
Not the Watcher. They get attacked by wolves too.
Oh, right before they even get to the gates, there's that.
And they're like surrounded, and the wolves is like the howling, and
That is a creepy scene in the middle of the night, and they just see shadows of wolves.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and then the Watcher is in the water outside.
Yeah, that was fucking scary. Is there one? Is there many? We don't know.
We don't know. We do know that it's enough to collapse a door.
Yeah, pretty fucking strong. They will uproot trees and collapse mountainsides.
Yeah, didn't they throw the tree at the door?
Yeah, they said they could tell by the sound, like it ripped up both of the trees and threw them down in front of the door.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, well, I guess we only have one direction to go now, and that's east.
And then also in Moria, we have the Chamber of, I always fuck this word up, it's Mazarbul?
Yeah.
Mazarbul. But this is when we see the Fellowship kill a bunch of orcs for the first time.
Yeah, this is a very, I don't know, I almost find this to be like a heartening moment.
It is.
When you see them fight together for the first time, and it's all just like, rah, badass.
Yeah, but the spooky Yuki part is the lead up, when he's reading the book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like doom, 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 and it's just like you can...
Doom.
Yeah.
Doom.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that was scary. Like they're reading this book of the death of these characters, and then you start to realize that you know these characters.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
it's Ori.
Fuck.
Ori wrote
it's Ori.
Yeah.
And they talk about how, was it Nori died by the Watchers?
Yeah, one of them got killed by the Watcher. I can't remember.
Yeah, so then they start dropping names, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, shit, dude.
Oh, fuck, these are the dwarves from the Hobbit story. Like, oh, shit, we know these people. Oh, shit, this is Balin's tomb.
Fuck, they're all dead.
Oh, my God. And then, they describe the booming, and then afterwards, when the booming starts happening in real life, then you're like, oh, shit.
You cannot get out.
Yeah, that build-up. Good job, J.R.R. That was fantastic.
Yeah. And then also the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, the final... the demon fight.
Yeah. Yeah, the final fight with the Balrog. Well, I shouldn't say that's not the final fight with the Balrog, but that's when Gandalf is confronted.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Moria. Moria's fucking awesome.
Yeah, Moria is the spooky Yukiest. Another thing we have in here is more from the film. I mean, the part in the book is, kind of scary too, but it's more the visuals of the film that I was talking about. And that's the Battle of Helm's Deep.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just I love the art direction that with the rain, and then like when they start doing the spears, you're like, oh, we're all fucked. Like this is.
Oh yeah, they do build that up really well.
Yeah, the build up to that battle, and not necessarily the battle spooky, but the build up is very tense and thrills and chills.
Thrills and chills. Yeah, when the Orcai do start like pounding their spears in unison, that does make
growling.
Yeah, it makes it pretty fucking ominous. So another event that was very creepy in The Lord of the Rings, we kind of already mentioned it, but the pass of Cirith when they go through Shelob's lair.
Spookiness is off the charts in this.
Yeah, going into the spider lair is pretty fucking freaky.
Yeah, the description of the dark webbed tunnels and the eyes staring back and from the dark is quite terrifying.
Mm-hmm. That makes your skin crawl.
Yes, it does. Another event we talked about is a little bit earlier was the Pass of the Dead, when Aragorn goes to talk to the dead men of Dunharrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is much spookier in the book than it is in the film.
Yeah, and these guys are so scary that like we were looking up earlier, we're not even sure if their weapons can do damage because their main weapon is fear and like.
Oh yeah, the dead men.
The dead men, yes.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a debate earlier. Danny's like, I always imagine the dead men to be more like undead,
like zombies. Yeah,
and I was like, I always imagine them to be more like ethereal ghosts.
Yeah, and they are ethereal. We found out, or at least that's what we're leaning towards.
I think we're leaning that way because there was a description to describe them as like gray figures or something like that.
And so they sat on ghostly horses too.
Ghostly horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it made it seem a little more ghostly rather than physical. But I mean, I think it's still kind of open to interpretation.
Yeah, but most people, when they come up against them, just kill themselves.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, their main weapon is fear.
Yeah.
It describes when the armies of the dead meet with the Corsairs. Most of the Corsairs kill themselves.
Yeah.
They throw themselves into the fucking ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's and everybody as they're marching across southern Gondor, everybody's hiding. Like even good people, everyone's just like, I do not want anything to do with this.
Yeah. As they go through the paths of dead, that's a very creepy part of the book.
Yeah.
He does a very good job making it tense and eerie and creepy.
Yeah.
And scary.
Yeah. Tolkien is such a good author, dude. Like for reals though.
Yeah, he in the book they describe that the riding of that company was so terrifying that it even stopped a smaller battle that was already in progress.
Yeah, could you imagine just like fight to the last man? And then just like, what the hell's going on over there? Ghosts, angry ghosts, everybody run!
Everybody get the fuck out! Yeah, apparently while they were making their journey through southern Gondor, apparently there was some other smaller little scuffle going on. But as soon as they came through that, everyone was just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Scatter. Another part that's really spooky, and it is in the book as well as the film, is just the entire Siege of Gondor sequence is very ominous and doom-filled.
Yeah, this is a little more, doom-filled, a little more gory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we were talking about, one of the things is the launching of the severed heads.
Yeah.
And like I said before on the podcast, like I'd seen the films before I read the book. So when I saw that, I was like, there's no way that shit's in the book. No way. And then I read it and I was like, oh, holy shit. No, this dude actually has them flinging severed heads over the walls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
That's some horror movie shit. And then, we also have that confrontation with the Witch King and Gandalf.
Yeah. After they open the front door, that's a really awesome, intense scene. And then the breaching of the wall with Grond. That's pretty fucking intense, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of doom and gloom during that. Like,
exactly.
It seems like
despair.
Despair.
Yeah,
despair. That's a good adjective.
And also, speaking of despair, the Pyre of Denethor.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty fucked up part too.
Yeah, very disturbing. He's about to burn his son alive. And it's also kind of it really shows the extent of the madness of Denethor and what despair actually does to people.
Yeah, just the kind of corruption that Sauron can do from afar,
and just by making you sad.
Yeah,
like he basically gives you depression. Like Sauron just gives people
complete despair.
Yeah,
to the point where you're willing to kill yourself and people around you.
Yeah, nice guy.
I was just gonna say, I still love that scene in the movie where he jumps off the pinnacle on fire. That's fun.
Yeah, I saw somebody complaining about it on the internet the other day, and I was like, "You are wrong, sir."
I mean, it's probably a little more spooky when Gandalf quickly closes the doors
and
behind them,
lets them burn up,
and then they just hear that roar of fire, and then that one yelp go up, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. Like that's pretty creepy.
That's spooky.
The end of Denethor.
But speaking of doom and gloom, the March to the Black Gate.
Oh yeah, that's pretty fucking gloomy because they're pretty sure that's a suicide mission.
Yeah, and this is the first time time anyone's ever directly attacked Sauron since the Last Alliance. Like at this.
Yeah, no one's ever come up and attacked Mordor.
Yeah.
But since the Last Alliance, like that just seems crazy, especially with this tiny ass company.
Yeah, and the Last Alliance took 12 years or whatever to do it.
It's a long time.
Yeah, and many more men and elves and all kinds of
Yeah, they barely did it.
And so just the idea that these people are marching off to their doom is very scary, and they some of them actually can't do it, and they turncoat, or they
that's right. They
turn back.
They get into Ithilien, don't they? And then some of them are like,
and they're like too scared. Nope. Yeah, and then he's like, Aragorn's like, fine, just go liberate Karandros.
Yeah, go retake Karandros.
Yeah, and they do.
Yeah, which is a useful thing for them to do.
Yeah,
that's nice. At least they didn't go totally to waste.
Yeah, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? Well,
another event that happens at this Black Gate scene, the Mouth of Sauron, like we mentioned earlier, genuinely creepy character.
And this is the dialogue is where it's the doom sets in, and like his sense of like superiority to them, like we're the winners, like almost like we're victorious before we've even fought, you know?
Oh yeah, he definitely gives that off.
Yeah,
very heavy.
Yeah, which also feels like, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have done this.
Oh, we're super fucked up.
Yeah. And last in the Lord of the Rings here, we're going to mention a spooky moment, and not for what you'd think. It's it's the part of the Scouring of the Shire at the Battle of Bywater that makes me think of the movie Freaks. Really hard.
I saw you put this on there, and for a second I was like, what's so spooky about this?
Yeah. No, it's the part where the hobbits like slowly come out of the shadows around them, and they realize there's hundreds of them around them, and they're just like, oh shit. And then the Battle of Bywater happens.
Yep.
But yeah, that reminds me of the part in Freaks where the freaks are like chasing, like there's a freak chase like scene, and they just keep coming. There's like a freaky dude with like no legs, and he's like coming through the mud, and like he's got a knife in his mouth. Yeah, it's check out Todd Browning's Freaks from 1930. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I guess I imagine that scene would be pretty terrifying for the evil men that were there.
Yes.
All these small little pale figures just coming out of the dark surrounding you.
Yeah.
And they're really good marksmen.
Well, they have that scene too. Remember they walk up and it's just Cotton at the fire.
Oh yeah,
warming his hands.
And
he's like, "You ain't welcome here, boy." And then they're like, and then just like, "Who the fuck are you?" And then they turn around and there's just hundreds of hobbits coming in. Yeah.
I imagine they're all like quietly chanting something.
Yeah.
Hobbits, 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 hobbits,
hobbits, hobbits. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it for the Lord of the Rings. The next segment we hear is called the Spookarillion, which is spooky stories from the Silmarillion.
Yeah, as I'm sure you guys know, we love the Silmarillion to death. So we thought we'd kind of end off the episode with some fun, spooky Silmarillion places and events.
Yeah. So the first one we mentioned also early on in the episode was the fall of Tolsirian. When the Halloween creatures take Tolsirian from Mordor.
Yeah, and then it becomes Tol and Galroth. Yeah, that taking of the island is pretty fucking terrifying. So another really spooky thing that happens in the Silmarillion is the Rage of Car Karratha. This is not something we talked about earlier. This is when Car Karratha the wolf bites Baron's hand straight off, including the Silmaril, and then goes into like a complete blood rage because of the pain he's in, and just lays waste. It says in the book that the Rage of Car Karratha was like one of the most devastating onslaughts.
Yeah, like people talk about it.
Yeah, and like I always think about Glaurung. I'm like, wouldn't Glaurung have been one of the most devastating onslaughts?
Yeah.
But apparently Car Karratha was in such a fucking blood rage.
Yeah.
And I imagine he probably moves faster too.
Yeah, bloodlusted. Also, the sacking of Nargothrond, the confrontation of Turin on the bridge. We talked about that a little bit earlier too. Just the taking of slaves and the burning of everything, and then the fact that Glaurung just goes in there and shuts the doors in the end.
Yeah, afterwards he kicks out all the orcs and doesn't even let the orcs plunder the place. He's like, nope, fuck you guys, this is mine for a while.
My shit. And then he sleeps on the treasure. Oh, Finrod's treasure.
Oh, yeah, because he's there sleeping for a good while, isn't he?
Yeah.
But another pretty intense thing that happens during the First Age, during the Silmarillion, is the fall of Gondolin, and this is pretty fucking terrifying.
Yes, it is very scary.
Similar to during the Nirnaeth, when Melkor unlooses like everything in Angband and devastates the entire battle, he kind of does the same thing in Fall of Gondolin. He sends all of his fucking monsters, dragons,
it's
Balrogs.
like
other creatures that are just unnamed.
It's like that part in Cabin in the Woods when all the doors open.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And he absolutely devastates Gondolin, just fucking sacks it and destroys it. They even talk about like inanimate dragons. They talked about like
like the tank type.
Yeah, like a
deals,
tank type, like a transporter almost, like bringing orcs in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit that happens in the fall of Gondolin. And a lot of death. Most everyone dies.
So much death. Yeah, there's a lot of glorious deaths in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next would some things from Baron and Luthien that were creepy. We talked about a couple of them already. But one is the treachery of Gorham. That shit is super spooky.
Yeah, that is a very Halloween-like story.
Yeah.
Like, Gorham is tricked by a phantom vision of his wife, and then captured, and then tricked again into
double tricked
into betraying, his clan, and then he's cruelly put to death, and then his ghost shows up.
Yeah, and like haunts Baron. It
shows up to Baron and is like, hey,
I fucked up, yo.
Hey, guess what?
Guess who's a ghost, bro?
Oh shit, Gorham, what's up, man? Hey, man. Got some bad news.
Some bad news for you. I mean, I figured you're a ghost now, so I figured it wasn't good news, bro.
Yeah, you know how I'm dead? Well, you might want to get back to your dad's camp.
Yeah. But yeah, and then they captured Finrod and his company in his ultimate death. Very spooky, eaten by wolves.
Yeah,
one by
one.
one.
That's Sauron capturing them and putting them in his dungeons. That was all very fucking terrifying. And then, like we mentioned before, too, the descent into Angband during Beren and Luthien is very terrifying.
Very spooky. And then coming up on the tail end of the Silmarillion here, the downfall of Numenor.
Yeah, we thought this would be a fun subject to more or less end things off on, just because, I don't know, the downfall of Numenor is insane.
Yeah, it's very spooky. That's Sauron basically corrupts it all from within, and they start doing human sacrifices.
Yeah, they start literally raiding Middle-earth for human sacrifices and bringing them back and burning them alive.
Mm-hmm. But one of the scariest things about the story is the wrath of the God, really.
Of the God.
Yeah. And that's sinking the island, and then also the great armament that Ar-Pharazôn had sailed over to Valinor. Yeah. They also kill all them, and they capture them in those caves. And
that's what I thought was crazy, because they didn't even he could have just been snap his fingers and they're gone.
Like Thanos, yeah.
But, like Thanos. But, no, instead of killing them, he just decides, no, you guys are going to get buried in the Caves of the Forgotten until the end of the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking oof.
Oh, dude, there's that one super metal part where lightning strikes Sauron on the top of the temple.
Yeah, lightning strikes the temple and, breaks the dome open or whatever, but Sauron stands on the temple in defiance and is like,
I just imagine him up there, as he gets struck by lightning, as the light clears and you can finally see it again, he's just shredding on a guitar.
Like the fucking guy at the beginning of the War Party in Mad Max.
In Mad Max, Fury Road.
The guitar guys are like, just always playing the guitar.
I love when their engines are idling or they slow down. He's like, Judd.
And then the next morning things pick up and he's like, Judd. And it's like shooting fire. That guy's my favorite. That was fucking cool.
Mad Max Fury Road. What a film.
What a film. But yes, the downfall of Numenor.
But yeah,
in general, the entire sinking of the island, the descriptions too.
Scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
It is scary.
Scary. It's the wrath of God.
Yeah, it is that. It's kind of that fear of God.
Yeah. So that's about pretty much all we have for you for content for the Spooky Yuki episode.
I love how we ended with the fear of God.
Yeah. Remember,
the
everybody?
Scariest thing in this whole episode. Remember, is God. Be grateful he's not real.
He's so terrifying. What a terrifying character.
Yeah, he created a place of eternal torment where he sends you if you masturbate too much. That's pretty fucking scary.
Yeah, don't masturbate, guys.
Don't do it.
You go blind, too.
That's our public service announcement from Keep on Tolkien.
Look up John Harvey Kellogg, and then
you'll learn some crazy shit about Dr. Kellogg.
You'll learn some stuff about masturbating you never knew. Okay, guys, well, that's pretty much That's pretty much it for today.
In terms of content on spooky stuff.
Spooky stuff.
But remember, if you remember the beginning of this episode, we have coming up now our first ever famous interview.
Yeah, dude. This is an interview.
Like an interview of a real famous person.
Real fucking famous person, guys. Yeah, we got a hold of him, that's for sure.
Or we should say she.
She, yes. And that's our hero, Karen Wynn Fonstad.
That's right, folks. We've built this up a lot over the years. We've talked about how much we love Karen and how much we'd love to have her on, so stay tuned, and we will have an exclusive interview with Karen Wynn Fonstad on Keep on Tolkien.
Coming up in just a few seconds. Hey there, Tolkieneers. Welcome to the first ever KOT interview with an actual famous person. We are super excited to bring you this interview with our personal hero and famous cartographer, Karen Wynn Fonstad.
Yeah, if you guys don't already know, Karen is the author of the Atlas of Middle-earth, which we are absolutely obsessed with.
That's right. We have actually said before that if KOT were a class, the Atlas of Middle-earth would be required text.
Yeah, it's chock full of beautiful detailed maps of every inch of Middle-earth. It's really amazing.
It is simply required for any Tolkien collection. And if you are a cartography nerd like me, it is genuinely 100% pornographic.
All right, guys, let's get right down to it. Here is the interview with Karen Wynn Fonstad.
Burr, burr, burr.
So before we get into this, there is something that you guys probably ought to know.
That's right. So when we actually went to reach out to Karen, we discovered, much to our chagrin, that sadly Karen she died nearly 15 years ago.
Rest in peace. Very sad.
Very, very sad. But we here at KOT are anything but quitters, so we are determined to do the damn interview anyway. So what we have set up here is your classic Ouija board with all the proper accoutrement.
That's right. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Ouija board, it's basically just a device used to contact the spirit world. And this is what it will enable us to conduct our interview from beyond the grave.
All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Joel, you want to hit the lights?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead up and light this candle and incense.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, what is this?
It's sage.
Dude, that's the fattest joint I have ever seen. What is in it?
Sage.
Is that an indica or a sativa?
No, Joel, it's sage.
Ah, a hybrid. Yeah, let me hit that shit. This is some good shit. You want to hit this?
No, Joel, that's not for No, what the hell?
All right. Now let's talk to some ghosts.
Let's do it.
All right. So we lit the candle and we put our hands on the Blanchette. And let's see. What we say something? Like, what do we say?
Oh, great undead spirits, we beseech thee to help us talk to renowned cartographer Karen Wynn Fonstad. Come forth, spirit.
Whoa, dude.
Dude, I felt it too. It just got really, really cold in here.
Damn, dude, I can see my breath.
Okay, cool. I think we're on the right track. Dude, ask a question.
Oh, is there anyone here with us?
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, dude, it's moving.
All right. Calm down. Just read what it says.
Dude, what does it say?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, all right. Hi there. Is this Karen Wynn Fonstad?
Yes.
All right.
Sweet, we got her. Dude, you guys, we're doing it.
We're doing it, dude. We got her. All right. Oh, shit. All right. Nice. Karen, we'd like to do a short interview with you about the Atlas of Middle-earth. Would that be all right with you?
It's moving. It's moving. Check it. What does it say?
Yes. Nice. All right, Karen.
All right. So you were a cartographer for many years. What was the number one thing you found out while studying and drawing maps for so many years? Oh, dude. Okay. I think this is a long one. Maps.
Are cool. Maps are cool. Yeah, indeed. Maps are cool.
Yeah.
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 Next question, Karen.
Okay. All right.
Tolkien was known for drawing maps of the places that he made up for his legendarium. As a cartographer and huge Tolkien fan, how do you feel about Tolkien's skill as a cartographer?
Here we go. Tolkien is
sweet. Tolkien's sweet. All right.
Yeah, he sure is, Karen. Now we really love your book, The Atlas of Middle Earth.
Oh shit! It's moving again, dude.
Oh, dude, what you? I didn't even ask anything. What you saying?
I am lonely.
Jesus.
What the fuck? Help me. Oh shit.
Fuck, this is not the way I expected this interview to go.
Me neither, dude. Damn, that sucks. I'm sorry, Karen. What's it like where you are?
Super. That's good.
Super? No, he's saying something else. Lame. Super lame.
Oh, that's kind of what I figured, I guess. I can't imagine it's that great.
No, yeah, I never thought it was either.
Is there anyone else there with you, Karen?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Only
What's a number?
one.
Only what?
Only one.
I wonder where the fuck.
Only one. All right, there's only one. It's moving again. He is
driver?
He's
a dick.
A dick.
He's
a dick. Who's there with you, Karen? He is
name dropping.
Name dropping. Tolkien's.
Okay.
He's Tolkien's. Okay, he's Tolkien's. Great what? Greatest enemy.
Tolkien's enemy?
Tolkien's greatest enemy. Who could that be?
Who did we fight in World War I? Oh, it's moving. It's moving again.
Shit. It's moving again. Shit.
I want to. Well, I want to ask you. Well, let's just see what she says.
He is coming.
Well, that's not fucking ominous. Jesus Christ, what is happening?
Fuck, dude, the candle just went out.
What the fuck is going on?
Let me light it again.
Dude, I don't know, man. This is getting kind of. I wasn't really down for the Ouija board. This is getting kind of weird.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking scared right now, bro. Let's just hold on. Shh, let's calm down.
Okay.
All right. Let's just see where this goes. All right.
All right. I'm gonna try a little more of that sage.
There you go, man. Damn it, Joel. That's not what it's. I guess it couldn't hurt.
Jesus. Okay, I don't know if it's the sage, man, but it's getting really cold in here now. What the fuck is happening?
No, dude, I'm straight up like fucking freezing in here.
These candles aren't even doing anything.
Damn, yeah, it is, dude. What spirit? Are you here with us?
Holy shit! What the fuck?
Oh shit, dude, it's okay, Joel. Calm down. Calm down.
All right.
The planchette is moving on its own. We are not even.
Isn't that a
this.
requirement? Aren't we supposed to be?
That is supposed to be the requirement for the game. I'm very scared.
This is fucked up.
This is really wild. What's it saying?
Oh, it's moving kind of fast. Okay. Fuck. I am. What is it?
Always.
Always. I'm always with. You.
Always with you. Oh, it's still moving. Tolkien what? Tolkien sucks? Tolkien sucks?
Hey now. Okay.
Oh, it's going really, really fast now. Your podcast sucks.
Dude.
Damn, this dude is rude.
Okay, I don't know if this is still... This must not still be Karen. This is getting kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
now.
This dude is... Whoever this is rude. I mean, that's kind of... I know our shit isn't for everyone, but that's kind of harsh. You call yourself Tolkien's enemy. Who are you?
Yeah, who the fuck is this? Name yourself.
Oh, shit, it's going real fast. The man
who owns the world. So what is this fucking who is this? Who owns the world? Who could that possibly fucking be?
I don't know, dude. I'm getting pissed now. Name yourself, lest ye be a coward. Oh shit, it's going real fast.
Okay. Oh shit, it's a long one. Okay, I am
the
great. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest storyteller of all time. Okay, we're still going.
All right. I am the great Walt Disney.
Walt Disney.
Fucking Walt Disney.
The greatest storyteller of all time. Man, I was fucking scared.
I was scared for a second too, dude. You're not fit to lick the sweat off Tolkien's balls, dude. Seriously, man, you suck.
Oh, he's got something to say.
Fuck you.
Whoa, hey, fuck us no, dude. Fuck you.
Yeah, Disney, you suck. You suck. You know what else sucks too? Steamboat Willie and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I've seen corpses with better animation, dude.
I mean, he's a dick, but maybe we shouldn't taunt the dead spirit, dude?
No, fuck him, dude. Disney sucks. You know what else sucks? Disneyland sucks. Fucking asshole.
Oh, he's saying something. You better shut up.
Oh, or what? You have no power here, Disney. What are you gonna do? Watch me. Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck, dude. Okay, candles going out. This is ridiculous. Light it again.
All right, hold on, dude. I gotta get the light.
Now this is just getting annoying.
Dude, it's not working.
What the fuck is going on?
Dude, I'm trying and it
Dude,
won't work.
I don't like this, dude. I don't feel so good.
Are you alright, bro?
No, man. I don't know, man. Something's wrong with this shit. I'm really not liking it. I do not feel good.
Are you alright?
Oh, shit. It burns.
Oh, shit, dude. Here, smoke some more sage. Oh, dude, it's not working. What the fuck? Joel, are you alright?
Joel's not here.
Oh, shit, you guys. Oh, shit. Joel's been possessed. Is that you, Disney?
You bet your ass it is.
What did you do with Joel?
Joel sucks eggs in hell.
Bring back my friend now, damn it.
Oh, why do you do this to me, Danny? Why did you do this to me, Danny? Oh, God. We'll all burn down here,
Be gone, Disney. Go back to the shadow.
Why don't you make me, bitch?
The power of Tolkien compels you. The power of Tolkien compels you. The power of Tolkien compels you. Come into me, you racist bastard. Leave my friend alone.
Oh. What the fuck happened? Dude, was I here just a second ago? Wait, and then... Oh shit, lights are going crazy. Fucking thing, let me relight this. Danny, you there, bro?
Danny's not here.
No.
Join us. Join us. Join us.
No. Oh, please don't.
One of us. Gooble gobble. One of us. Gooble gobble. All right, guys. Hi, guys. Thanks for listening to the Keep on Tolkien Halloween special.
Our little Halloween skit. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Sorry for the troll, but whatever.
But whatever. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. Happy trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
There's your fucking trick.
Yeah. Where's our treat?
Where's our treat? All right, guys. Well, that was incredibly fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks again for listening. This has been KOT Podcast. Make sure you follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter at KOT Podcast.
If you want to follow my goofy ass, I am at DannyJKOT. That's Jay. Also, follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/official-keep-on-Tolkien.
Also, while you're there, be sure to join the KOT Talk group and be sure to ask us any questions you might have. There's also some fun discussions going on there with other listeners, and we like to share some fun Tolkien memes and such. So go ahead and dive on in.
Also, follow us on Instagram at Keep On Tolkien Podcast, and subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes at www.whateverwebsite.com/keepontolkien.
Yeah, make sure you stay up to date with all of our new episodes and news going on with the podcast. And while you're there, please rate us and maybe give us a review if you like us.
If you don't, just move along.
Just don't. And we want to give a big thank you for everyone who's given to the Patreon.
Oh, yeah, you guys are our heroes.
If you want to check out a Patreon, it's www.patreon.com/KOT podcast. Be sure to subscribe and help support us.
Help support us, yeah, because KOT is still a 100% DIY podcast, and it is still coming out of our pockets. So donations help so goddamn much.
Yeah, even the smallest donations, they really help us, just bring to you the same great content and a level of quality that I think you can appreciate.
Yeah, help us quit our jobs.
Yeah,
guys.
that'd be great. That's our goal.
Help us quit our jobs. Also, if you subscribe, you can unlock some cool, super cool exclusive content, which is almost always not safe for work.
Yeah, we like to have some fun with our Patreon content, so there's a little motivation for you there, a little something for you.
Yeah.
But we hope you guys enjoyed the episode today, and we hope you guys have a awesome Halloween.
Have an awesome Halloween, guys. Raise some fucking hell, dude. Smoke some weed, drink some booze. Unless you're underage, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't drive, but also drink booze and smoke weed.
Yes. Happy Dia de los Muertos, everybody.
Yes, those guys as well. And for down in South America, the Noche de las Brujas. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We're just way too excited about Halloween. Thanks for listening to the Halloween episode. I am Danny J.
And I'm Joel N. And as always, guys,
keep on Tolkien. Ahora en Tulaba, spooky yuki Halloween.